Hi Blue Marble Riders, and here I am again with another review, this time the Royal Enfield Himalayan, or Himalayan depending on how you want to say it. I just picked this one up. It does come with a few things. Before I go through the specs, it comes with a few aftermarket options. This particular one, this is the Royal Enfield side cases. These won't come with it if you buy it base, and also the crash bars don't come with it base. These though, for rotor packs or other luggage, do come with it, and so does the center stand. Chances are your dealer won't include battery tender tail, but this dealer, which is Paul at Bayview Custom Motorcycles, Parksville, the Royal Enfield dealer, he attaches these to every bike he sells. No cost to you, buddy. I think that's a nice touch. Okay, on to the stats. First of all, let's center on the engine here. This is a 411cc 24 horsepower, and let me address my notes here. 24 horsepower and 23 foot-pounds of torque, 32 newton meters, between 4 and 4,000 RPM for the torque, and the 24 horsepower comes in at about 6,500 RPM. It's remarkably smooth from what I've noticed riding on just the few minutes that I've been riding it to get here to stop to do my walk around of this thing. A remarkably smooth engine, and nicer, not too loud, nice and quiet. It's a 9.5 to 1 compression ratio, has a lot of torque. It has actually the same amount of torque as an XR400, produces it 1250 RPM lower than the XR400, which is nice. It weighs 439 pounds, and that's with 90% of fuel and all its fluids, and that isn't too bad either. Let's go to the brakes. They're Bayview by Brembo, and here we go. You can take a look at the front. Steel braided lines again. Wow, all their bikes seem to have those. That's a really nice thing. I just spent quite a bit of money changing my Kawasaki to steel braided lines. It's nice to see some manufacturers actually bring them onto the bike as stock when you buy them. I believe that's a 300 millimeter disc, 2-piston floating caliper, and it is dual channel ABS, meaning you can turn the ABS off to single channel on the back wheel and leave it on the front. Same Bayview on the back. It's a 240 mil disc, and there you can see it right there, and you can turn that ABS off if you're going off-road. Of course, Nora Lee of Itchy Boots fame is definitely, you've been using hers for getting across Asia and South America so far. When this COVID thing's finished, maybe she'll continue, hopefully. Comes with a nice metal protector there, and even the frame flares out to protect it as well. What I like about it is, while it's an air-cooled single, it has an oil cooler on it, because as you know, when you're going quite slowly over single track trails, navigating dirt roads, and you have to take your time to be cautious, particularly if you're on your own, you're not getting much airflow around the fins. So having an oil cooler is something that is a really good thing to do on a air-cooled bike. Even the DR650 by Suzuki has an oil cooler on it to make sure, for the same reason. So that's nice to see. Non-LED front light. Perfect though. If you're in the outback, you know, you're not going to get yourself an LED light replacement for it if it goes. The tank, 15 liters, okay, 4 US gallons. What's the range like on it? Well, according to Royal Enfield at the website, they're going to tell you you can get 37.8 kilometers per liter, or 107 miles per imperial gallon. But real world tests that I did some research on, people were saying 29 kilometers per liter, 80 miles per gallon. Still very impressive. What's that for range? Well, that's 450 kilometers, or 280 miles, and I think that is pretty spectacular for a bike. Any bike actually. You're gonna have to go to some pretty out of the way places before you run out of fuel on this, and with your rotor packs attached right there, well, I can't see that you're going to have any problem at all. The seat is quite plush, and the seat height is 800 mils, or 31.5 inches. Great for you shorter riders too. It certainly doesn't feel top heavy, and it carries its weight well. The 439 pounds does not seem to impair it at all, which I'm very impressed about. 21-inch wheel on the front. Wow, well that's just what you need, 21 inches. Any off-road enduro bike rider will tell you that is what you need to go off-road. And on the back, a 17-inch gives you a little more cushion with the tire, although perhaps a little less choice than an 18-inch would, but that's up in the air. It depends where you are for that. Before taxes, PDI and freight, this thing is 6,701 Canadian dollars. That is a steal. Okay, so before we start her up, just a couple of things. One, we have a fuel enricher right here, which is quite interesting for a fuel-injected bike. If this was cold, I would pull this forward like this, punch the button, turn her off straight away, and she would run. She's not cold, so I'm going to turn the ignition on, go straight ahead, and give her a push. So she starts straight away, and you can hear her idle. Quite a nice deep burble. What have we got on the dash? Miles per hour, kilometers an hour, RPM, she's ticking over about 1200. Compass is calibrating right now. We've got a fuel gauge which is really nice. I've heard it's quite pessimistic, but that's better than anything else you want. A couple of set buttons here which I'm not going to touch. Looks like it's telling me the ABS isn't on right now. You've got a neutral button. I don't see a gear selector, but it does tell me range, it tells me temperature, it tells me the time, it tells me odometer for trip A. Oh yeah, there we go. Average speed, trip B average economy, trip A distance, trip A average economy, etc, etc. So you can go through the whole thing there. Okay, with that said, I don't think there's much more to see there. I must say the brake feels nice and firm straight away. Just not much pull at all, which is great. It's got a fairly tall first gear. I'm easily able to foot down. Look at that, my bum is several inches. I'm 6 foot and my bum is several inches off the seat easily, and my legs are quite far spread apart. So I'm easily able to flat foot this. If you're a shorter rider, you won't have any problems with this within reason. You know, if you're really, really short, perhaps. Wow, goes down, snicks into first gear nicely, not much of a fuss. Tall first gear. We'll tell you how the shield works in a minute. Okay, time for us to get going. Check I'm recording. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, here we go. Low speed stability. Like I said, she doesn't feel top heavy at all. Very easy. Wow, very easy. Feels like a small bike, which is nice. Here we go. Into second. Okay, so I'm in third gear. Yes, it has a gear select indicator. Look at that. I'm in third gear. Nice. It's got more of a surge than a leap. It's what you'd expect out of a 400 single weighing, you know, just a tad over 400 pounds. You think somehow this can't work, but it does. Fourth gear, I can roll the throttle and I'm feeling some push from it. What a lovely, lovely neutral handling. Very confidence inspiring. Suspension is nice. It's got that plush but firm feeling. If I were to go off-road, yeah, I'd probably want bar risers on it if I was standing up. Being 6 foot, I'd probably want bar risers on this. Okay, so how's the riding position? Wow, super comfortable. What's about the buffet off this? Am I getting any? I'm getting a little air directed at me here, but at these speeds, not too bad at all. Even with the beak, I'm not feeling any pull. I'm not feeling any real buffet or anything like that. Yeah, she's smooth, she's quiet. The seating position is nice. My legs are canted about, I would say, an 80-degree angle here to the pegs. I'm 6 feet. Feels very comfortable. My hands fall very naturally to the controls. Now, I don't have anyone behind me right now, so I'm going to try those brakes. Here we go. Okay. Not bad. The rear ABS kicked in for sure. So I like to see that because it means that you can actually lock up the rear brake without it feeling too anemic. It feels like quite a good rear brake actually. The front brake, a little bit quite good, but a little mushy. Sintered pads would change that. I'll try one more time. No one behind me. Just front brake this time. Let's see what we do. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not the best in the world. I would certainly attempt to put sintered pads on that and improve it. It's perfect for off-road though. You're not going to lock that front wheel up too quickly. There's no vibrations through it. I'm not getting any buzz off the handlebars, no buzz through the seat, which you'd maybe expect on a smaller cc, smaller capacity bike. Nothing like that. It feels very neutral in the handling. It's while you wouldn't say it was flickable, it's predictable and quick enough. And rolling the throttle on, and it's up a slight grade and off it goes. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by the fact that I think you could travel highway with this. Certainly at 60 miles an hour. I don't think I'd have any problem. I'm getting a little more windage nothing that's too bad. It's all clear down here, and the wind starts around here for me. Not too bad at all though. Nowhere near the buffet you get off a V-Strom, stock Shield 650 or 1000 or any of the other shielded bikes I've had. I've heard rumor that people have cut these down, which could be an option, or even a heat gun and bend it. You might be able to get away with that too. Yeah, it's a very friendly bike. It's not something that's going to intimidate you at all. You're going to hop on this bike and you're going to get going with it, and you're going to kind of feel like you know it already. I would perhaps like to have seen a bar up here where you could mount some stuff on it. So redline, looks like it redlines about 6,500, which is about where most of the power comes in. Yeah, suspension's soaking up stuff really nicely. There were a couple of big dips and bumps back there, and I have no problem with that at all. I would say I would probably upgrade the mirrors, just because they are getting a little blurry at this point in time, and I can still see clearly through them. I'm wondering if it's the finish on them, if they're plastic or if they're glass, I'm not sure. I must say overall though, the fit and finish of the bike seems excellent, really nice, very robust, not flimsy. And I keep forgetting I've got the side cases on the back, which of course would add more weight to it, but at the same time I don't feel they're there. I don't feel any top heaviness to the bike at all. It feels very light and robust. Now with that 21-inch front wheel, it is not going to be as flickable as your non-ADV bike. It feels remarkably stable though, and it does not feel top heavy. Hello buddy. There's the obligatory squirrel running out in front of you when you least expect it. Not sure how it would work off-road. Probably pretty good. I've been told that I can take it for a little bungle in the jungle on the way back. There's apparently a place not too far from here that I can give it a shot, so I will do that. Yeah, I can't say enough about the riding position. Dead comfortable. You could spend all day on this. The seat so far seems very plush. I wonder if it would be too plush if you were going long distances, but right now, wow, probably one of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat on, actually. I'm about 185 pounds, probably 200 with all my garb on here right now. 6 foot. And it feels comfy, certainly feels natural. Riding this is just a breeze. It's one of those bikes again that you forget what you're on, and you're just on the magic carpet. You're just carving up the corners, coming around the corners, enjoying the ride, looking around yourself. You're not in the bike mentally, you're outside it, which is nice. It doesn't dominate. Nice gearbox. Wow, that's plush. You feel the slightest hint of a schnick, and that's it. It's very very nice. Doesn't feel too notchy. I'm in 4th gear right now, putzing along at just under 50 miles an hour. It seems to like it there. And how's the engine braking? If I roll off the throttle, no one behind me. In 4th, wow, fairly light actually. You can put it down to another gear, say we're in 2nd right now, and that seems to have more of an impact. But you know, surprisingly for a 400 single, the engine braking is pretty light. I mean, I'm in 4th gear and it's holding its own downhill, probably increasing in speed slightly. Okay, don't have anyone behind me, far enough away from the blind corner to get across. Yeah, no need to put your foot down on that stuff. It feels very solid and stable even on the gravel. Okay, so you can hear her clearly now. Yeah, I really like the ride on this thing. Very tempting little bike. Certainly if I was going long distances, I would not feel at all intimidated by getting such a small motorcycle, small CC'd motorcycle. It's quite a large frame, not too large. If I were going from here to Alaska, I think I'd prefer to do it on this than my V-Strom. I wouldn't get there as quickly, I wouldn't munch miles anywhere near as quickly, but at the same time I'd see more. Yeah, very nice. Nice simple design. Okay, onwards and upwards. Let's just take a look at the day. What a beautiful day on the west coast of Canada again. Look at that. 13, 14 Celsius, mid-March. Can't ask for more than that. Sorry you guys out in the prairies there. I'm so sorry. third gear. Very smooth and well fueled. There's nothing jerky about it. You know, I'm betting it doesn't have traction control because it simply doesn't need it. Oh, look. One of the cloven rats is back. You might be thinking, oh, cute, look, there's a deer, there's a deer. I'm telling you, they're everywhere. Where there's one, there's usually another following it out. Motorcyclist scourge in this part of the world. Anyway, back onto it. So I'm in third gear right now. 5,000 RPM, 50 miles an hour. Fourth gear, 4,000 RPM, 45 miles an hour. No one behind me. Let's try that brake one more time. Yeah, I'd want a little more. To be honest, I'd want a little more out of that brake. There's something about small capacity bikes I just love. And it's the way that you can bring them out a little more than a big one. I daren't bring my Kawasaki out, or even my V-Strom. You know, not on these roads. You're going to get yourself in big trouble. But this makes you feel like you're having good fun, rolling it off. You know, there's a lot to be said for smaller capacity bikes. Certainly, if I were planning a trip, and I am tentatively planning one to Alaska, if I had my druthers and I had money to spend, well, I would probably be spending it on this $6,701 rather than a V-Strom or any of the other larger, the 790, the Tenair 700, any of those, because man, this has got a range on it. It's smooth, it's perfectly rideable, and I'm not going to be doing too many highways, especially up in northern BC. They're far and few between. The Yukon and Alaska, you're basically doing roads like this, and this is the perfect device for that. And then if you want to go off-road, you're not carrying over 500 pounds, at least on a stock bike. You're not carrying over 500 pounds. Now, you could load this thing up, I'm sure, like you can any bike, but this starts at a bit of an advantage on most of the bikes. Now, some of you be saying KTM 390, fairly trick bike. I'm not sure I want to be out somewhere like that. I'd rather have something that's a little more robust than that, and my choice would be this bike over that one. It's cheaper, and it has a reputation, and the reputation is given to it by, you know, hundreds of people who have traveled in far-flung places on this bike, Gnarly probably being the most prominent of those. It's $6,701. The stuff I can add to it, the things I can do it. Do I want tubeless? Well, I could do it. Do I want rotor packs and baggage on it? I could do it. Do I want to upgrade my GPS? I could do it. Do I want to put handlebar risers on it? I could do it. And I'd still come out cheaper than most of the aforementioned bikes. The build quality on it seems to be first rate. There's nothing that makes me think that this would anything's going to fall off it soon. Feels nice. Takes me back to my kiddom. I can see 5 is like an overdrive. You get to 55, 60 miles an hour, and that's when you clunk into it. I'm guessing it's fairly comfortable to hold 65 miles an hour, just purring along, no vibes. Very neutral handling. And I'm taking this as fast as I'm taking it on my Kawasaki. Very nice. No fuss, no muss. Soaks it all up. Very good suspension for what I was imagining. You know, non-adjustable on the front and just preload on the back, and it seems to be set perfectly for me. If you want to get to Southern California in a day, you're not going to do it on this bike, but if you want to go adventuring and you want to have you know, either long or short trips, and you want to see things, then this is probably the bike for you. The owner of Bayview Custom Motorcycles took this out on the dirt and had a great day. He dropped it once, and the damage on it is minuscule. No broken bar end, just levers, just a slight plastic coming off here, a little graze on the end of that, and I think a slight bit of plastic grazing on the edge of one of the aluminum aftermarket Royal Enfield side cases. Man, I'm practically stopped, and I'm not even thinking of putting a foot down. Look at that. This is so easy. Let's just be naughty up here and just see if I can get in here without anyone screaming their head off at me. See what she's like on a little bit of dirt. Yeah, that's easy. Wow. Very plush. Not too bad at all. I definitely want risers on the bars though. If I were going for a stand-up position for long, just because my legs are quite long as a 6-footer, so I definitely want those on there. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, no problem at all. Look at that, right over the rough stuff. Get up on my... Beautiful. Yeah, easy. Kick her into second. Oh, she soaks it up. Very nice. There we go. Oh, what a lovely mannered bike. Sweetie.
And for those of you interested in the Continental 865, the Royal Enfield Continental GT 865 upgrade, this bike you're looking at right now will be done sometime this spring or summer, and I will report on it. Right now, it's just had some S&S pipes put on it. They sound magnificent, and it's going to get a bigger tire on the back to handle the extra power. I'll keep you posted.
Once again, thanks for watching, everyone. If this is the first time you've watched, please consider subscribing. I do product reviews, motorcycle reviews, off-road and on-road vlogs, as well as tours. Don't forget to follow me on social media, that's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and to like, and especially, I'm begging you here folks, subscribe. This is the BlueMarbleRider, out.